There is a force operating in your life right now, whether you acknowledge it or not. A force that shapes your income, your opportunities, your financial breakthroughs, and even the limits you unknowingly accept. Most people search for money in the outer world, chasing strategies, trends, and shortcuts. Yet they remain blind to the invisible principles that govern wealth at a deeper level. Today, you are about to discover something far more powerful than tactics. You are about to understand the hidden spiritual laws that govern your money. And once you understand them, you will never see wealth the same way again. Because money is not just physical. It is not just numbers in a bank account. Money is energy. It responds to alignment. It responds to thought. It responds to belief. And above all, it responds to law, the same way gravity governs the physical world. There are laws governing financial reality. And those who understand and obey these laws move forward with ease, while those who ignore them struggle, no matter how hard they work. Let this be clear from the beginning. Your financial situation is not merely a result of your job, your education, or your environment. It is a reflection of your inner alignment with these unseen principles. Napoleonhill often emphasized that success begins in the mind, but what he revealed goes even deeper. Success is not random, it is systematic. It is governed by universal laws that reward certain mental attitudes and behaviors, while silently punishing others. If you have ever wondered why some individuals seem to attract money effortlessly, while others constantly fight to survive, the answer lies in these laws. In this video, we will uncover 7 of these hidden spiritual laws, not theories, but principles that have governed wealth for generations. Principles that do not bend to excuses, emotions, or external circumstances. The first law begins with understanding that your thoughts are the seeds of your financial reality. What you consistently think about money becomes the blueprint for what you experience. If your thoughts are rooted in scarcity, fear, or limitation, your actions will reflect those patterns, and your results will confirm them. But when your thoughts are aligned with possibility, abundance, and belief in your own value, something begins to shift. Your decisions become sharper. Your awareness expands. Opportunities begin to appear that were always there, but previously unnoticed. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. The second layer is belief. Many people desire wealth, yet deep within, they carry unconscious beliefs that contradict their desires. They may say they want financial freedom, but internally they believe money is difficult to obtain, or that they are not deserving of it. These hidden beliefs act as internal barriers. No matter how much effort is applied externally, internal conflict will always create resistance. Napoleonhill taught that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief must be absolute, not partial. Doubt is enough to weaken the signal you send into the world. And here lies the subtle truth most people overlook. The universe does not respond to your words alone. It responds to your dominant mental state. The third element is clarity of purpose. Money flows more easily toward those who have a de-aced direction. When your goals are vague, your energy is scattered. When your vision is precise, your actions become focused. Clarity acts like a magnet. It organizes your thoughts, sharpens your decisions, and aligns your behavior with your desired outcome. Without clarity, even the most hard-working individual can feel stuck. With clarity, even small efforts begin to compound into meaningful progress. Now consider this carefully. These principles are not new. They have always existed. What is new is your awareness of them, and awareness changes everything. Because once you see the system, you can no longer operate blindly within it. Most people never take the time to examine the invisible side of wealth. They focus only on the visible. Income, expenses, jobs, investments. without realizing that the visible is always shaped by the invisible first. Your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and intentions are constantly broadcasting a signal, and that signal determines what you attract, what you recognize, and what you act upon. If your current financial reality is not what you desire, it is not a final sentence. It is feedback. It is information pointing you toward misalignment. And the moment you understand that, you gain power. Because if the mind created the condition, the mind can also change it. As we move forward, each law will reveal a deeper layer of this truth. Not only will you understand how money works, you will begin to understand how to work with money in harmony with universal principles rather than against them. And when that alignment happens, effort becomes more effective, decisions become more intuitive, and progress begins to accelerate in ways that once seemed impossible. Stay focused, because what you are about to learn is not just knowledge, it is a shift in perception. And perception is where all transformation begins. Now that you understand that your outer financial reality is a reflection of your inner state, we move deeper into the second hidden spiritual law, the law of vibration. Everything in the universe vibrates. Your thoughts, your emotions, your words, all carry a frequency. And money, like everything else, responds to frequency. It is drawn toward certain vibrations and repelled by others. This is where most people unknowingly sabotage their own progress. They say they want more money, yet they constantly operate from stress, worry, frustration, and impatience. These emotional states create a frequency that is out of alignment with abundance, and as a result, they remain stuck in cycles that mirror those emotions. Napoleonhill understood this principle clearly. He emphasized the importance of maintaining a positive mental attitude not as a suggestion, but as a necessity for success. Why? Because your emotional state determines the vibration you emit into the world. If your dominant vibration is fear, you will attract situations that reinforce fear. If your dominant vibration is confidence, gratitude, and certainty, you begin to align with opportunities that reflect those states. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing your internal response regardless of external conditions. The individuals who consistently attract wealth are not necessarily the ones who avoid challenges, but those who maintain emotional control while navigating challenges. They refuse to let temporary circumstances dictate their internal frequency. And this is a discipline, because the mind naturally reacts. But success requires that you train the mind to respond with intention. Consider this. Two people can experience the same financial setback. One collapses into doubt, begins to question their worth, and lowers their standards. The other remains composed, evaluates the situation, and maintains belief in their ability to recover and grow. The difference is not the event. The difference is the vibration they choose to maintain in response to the event. Over time, these small internal choices accumulate. They shape habits, influence decisions, and ultimately determine financial outcomes. The third hidden law is the law of cause and effect. This law states that every result in your financial life is the effect of a cause. Nothing happens by accident. Wealth is not random. Poverty is not random. Both are outcomes of consistent causes over time. Your income is not simply determined by your job. It is determined by the value you provide, the skills you develop, the decisions you make, and the consistency of your actions. If you desire a different financial result, you must examine the causes you are currently producing. Are your daily habits aligned with growth or stagnation? Are your actions moving you closer to your goals or keeping you in repetition? Napoleonhill taught that success requires definiteness of purpose followed by persistent action. This means that once clarity is established, action must be aligned and consistent. Many people fail not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they lack consistency in applying the right causes. They start strong, but when results do not appear quickly, they shift direction, abandon discipline, or return to comfort. But the law of cause and effect does not respond to short bursts of effort. It responds to sustained, aligned action. Think of it like planting seeds. You cannot plant today and expect a harvest tomorrow. There is a natural delay between cause and effect. During this delay, most people lose faith. They misinterpret the absence of immediate results as failure, when in reality, the process is still unfolding beneath the surface. Wealth operates the same way. The causes you initiate today may not produce visible results immediately, but they are working continuously. Every disciplined action, every moment of focus, every skill you develop is contributing to an unseen accumulation of momentum. And when that momentum reaches a certain threshold, results begin to appear. This is why persistence is essential, not blind persistence, but intelligent persistence, guided by the right principles. When your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions are all aligned, you are no longer working against yourself. You are cooperating with universal law. At that point, progress becomes less about forcing outcomes and more about maintaining alignment. Most people never reach this stage because they operate with fragmentation. Their thoughts say one thing, their emotions another, and their actions something else entirely. This internal conflict disrupts consistency and weakens results. But when alignment is achieved, clarity of thought, stability of emotion, and disciplined action working together, momentum becomes inevitable. And momentum, once established, begins to carry you forward with increasing ease. As you continue, you will begin to see that money is not simply pursued. It is attracted through alignment with principles that have always existed, quietly governing outcomes behind the scenes. The more you understand these laws, the less you rely on chance, and the more you rely on mastery. And mastery begins with awareness, followed by deliberate, consistent application. As you continue to understand these universal principles, another powerful law comes into focus: the law of compensation. This law explains a fundamental truth. The amount of money you receive is always in proportion to three things: your value, your service, and your contribution to others. In other words, money is not something you simply chase. It is something you earn by becoming someone who provides value at a meaningful level. Napoleon Hill repeatedly emphasized that success is not measured by what you get, but by what you become. And what you become determines what you are able to give. If you observe the world carefully, you will notice a pattern. Individuals who command higher income are often those who solve larger problems, serve more people, or deliver more specialized value. This is not coincidence. It is compensation. The universe, in a metaphorical sense, rewards contribution. The greater the value you bring into the marketplace, the greater the return you can receive. Many people make the mistake of focusing solely on money itself, instead of focusing on increasing their value. They ask, how can I make more money? When the more powerful question is, how can I become more valuable? Because money is a byproduct of value exchange. When your mindset shifts from extraction to contribution, everything begins to change. You stop looking for shortcuts and start investing in growth. You develop skills, expand knowledge, and refine your abilities. And as your capacity to serve increases, so does your financial potential. But here is where discipline becomes essential. The law of compensation does not reward intention alone. It rewards execution. Many people have the desire to become more valuable, but they fail to consistently invest in themselves. They consume information without applying it. They dream of growth without taking action. They wait for opportunities instead of preparing for them. True alignment with this law requires continuous self-improvement. Every skill you learn, every habit you build, every area of competence you develop increases your value in the eyes of the world. And the more value you bring, the more opportunities you attract. Now consider this carefully. The marketplace is not emotional. It responds to results, competence, and reliability. If you can solve problems effectively, you will always have a place in the system of exchange. This is why some individuals, even in difficult economies, continue to thrive. They position themselves as solutions providers rather than passive participants. The next law builds upon this idea. The law of focus. Your financial results are directly influenced by where you place your attention. Focus is not just concentration, it is energy directed with intention. Where focus goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, results grow. Most people dilute their focus by constantly shifting between tasks, distractions, and conflicting priorities. Their attention is scattered, and as a result, their progress is slow and inconsistent. But those who achieve financial success understand the power of directed focus. They choose a clear objective and commit to it with persistence. Focus amplifies effort. When your attention is divided, your energy is weakened. But when your focus is concentrated on a single goal, your effectiveness increases exponentially. This is why distractions are one of the greatest obstacles to wealth creation. Every unnecessary distraction pulls your mind away from meaningful progress. Over time, these small diversions accumulate, creating a significant gap between intention and outcome. The disciplined mind, however, learns to filter distractions and maintain alignment with its priorities. Focus also plays a critical role in perception. What you focus on expands in your awareness. If you focus on scarcity, you will notice limitations everywhere. If you focus on opportunity, you will begin to see possibilities that others overlook. This does not mean opportunities suddenly appear out of nowhere. It means your awareness becomes sharper, allowing you to recognize what was always present but previously ignored. This is a subtle but powerful shift. Wealth is often not about discovering something new, but about seeing what others fail to see and acting on it with clarity and confidence. The combination of value creation and focused execution forms a powerful foundation. When you increase your value while maintaining disciplined focus, you position yourself for consistent progress. However, even with value and focus, there is still another layer that must be understood. The alignment of purpose. Because when your actions are aligned with a meaningful purpose, your energy becomes more sustainable. You are no longer driven solely by external rewards, but by an internal sense of direction. This internal alignment strengthens resilience. It helps you persist when challenges arise. It keeps you moving forward when motivation fades. And in the next part, we will explore the remaining laws that tie all of these principles together, revealing how alignment, belief, and purpose work in harmony to shape your financial destiny. As we continue deeper into these hidden spiritual laws, we now arrive at a principle that separates those who merely understand success from those who embody it. The law of belief. Your beliefs act as internal instructions that shape your behavior, decisions, and ultimately your results. No matter how strong your desire may be, if your beliefs contradict your goals, your subconscious will always default to what it accepts as true. Napoleonhill made it clear that belief is the cornerstone of achievement. He taught that faith is not passive hope, it is active certainty. It is the unwavering conviction that what you desire is not only possible, but inevitable when supported by the right actions. Most people underestimate the power of belief because they focus only on external effort. But belief operates behind the scenes, influencing how you interpret opportunities, how you respond to challenges, and how much risk you are willing to take. For example, if someone believes they are not capable of handling large amounts of money, they will subconsciously avoid situations that could lead to financial growth. Even if opportunities appear, they may hesitate, self-sabotage, or walk away entirely. This is why two individuals with similar skills and opportunities can experience completely different outcomes. Their beliefs determine how they engage with the same reality. Belief also affects persistence. When your belief in your goal is strong, obstacles are viewed as temporary. When belief is weak, obstacles are interpreted as signs to quit. The difference lies not in intelligence, but in internal conviction. To align with this law, one must intentionally cultivate empowering beliefs. This requires repetition, visualization, and consistent reinforcement of thoughts that support your desired identity. Because belief is not built overnight, it is trained over time. Every thought you repeat strengthens a mental pattern. Every emotion you associate with a belief reinforces its emotional charge. Over time, these patterns become automatic responses. This is why environment matters as well. The people you surround yourself with, the information you consume, and the conversations you engage in all contribute to shaping your belief system. If your environment constantly reinforces limitation, your beliefs will reflect that. But if your environment encourages growth, possibility, and expansion, your beliefs will begin to evolve accordingly. Now, moving forward, we encounter another essential principle, the law of attraction, often misunderstood but deeply rooted in these teachings. This law states that your dominant thoughts and emotional state attract corresponding experiences into your life. It is not magic. It is alignment. When your mind is consistently focused on abundance, growth, and opportunity, you begin to notice and engage with situations that reflect those themes. This happens because your attention, perception, and behavior are all influenced by your internal state. For instance, someone who constantly thinks about lack will naturally make decisions driven by fear. They may avoid investments, hesitate to take calculated risks, or miss opportunities due to overcaution. On the other hand, someone who operates from a mindset of abundance approaches decisions differently. They evaluate opportunities with confidence, take calculated actions, and remain open to possibilities. The external world responds accordingly, not because it changes randomly, but because the individual interacts with it differently. This is why alignment is critical. The law of attraction is not about wishing, it is about becoming. Your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and actions must all move in the same direction. When they do, your signal becomes clear and consistent. And consistency is what the universe responds to. When your inner world is conflicted, your results become unstable. But when your inner world is unified, your results begin to reflect that harmony. Finally, we must understand the law of alignment itself, the principle that ties all previous laws together. Alignment means that your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, focus, and actions are all working in harmony toward a single direction. There is no internal resistance, no contradiction, no divided energy. When alignment is present, progress becomes more natural. Decisions feel clearer. Actions feel more intentional. And opportunities seem to appear at the right time. This is not coincidence. It is the result of being in sync with universal principles. Most people operate out of alignment without realizing it. They desire wealth but entertain doubt. They seek growth but maintain comfort. They speak about success but act inconsistently. This internal contradiction creates friction that slows progress. But when alignment is achieved, that friction disappears. And what remains is flow. Flow is the state where your efforts are amplified, your awareness is heightened, and your actions are guided by clarity rather than confusion. At this level, success is no longer forced, it is cultivated. As you integrate these laws, belief, attraction, and alignment, you begin to see that financial success is not a mystery reserved for a select few. It is the natural outcome of living in harmony with principles that have always governed humans. Experience. In the final part, We will bring everything together and reveal how to consciously apply these laws in a way that transforms not only your financial reality, but your entire approach to life and success. As we arrive at the final stage of understanding these hidden spiritual laws, it becomes clear that wealth is not the result of chance, but the outcome of alignment, discipline, and awareness applied consistently over time. You have now explored the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, the law of focus, the law of belief, the law of attraction, and the law of alignment. Each one operates independently, yet together they form a complete system that governs your financial reality. When these laws are understood individually, they provide insight, but when they are applied collectively, they produce transformation. The final truth is this: your financial life is not controlled by a single action or a single moment. It is shaped by the sum of your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, focus, and behaviors over time. And this is where personal responsibility becomes the turning point. Napoleonhill consistently emphasized that success begins with self-mastery. Not mastery over external circumstances, but mastery over the internal world. Because once you gain control over your inner state, you gain influence over your outer results. Many people seek financial change without first changing themselves. They want different outcomes while maintaining the same mindset, habits, and patterns. But the laws do not respond to desire alone. They respond to alignment. To apply these principles in a practical way, you must begin with awareness. Observe your current thoughts about money. Are they rooted in possibility or limitation? Do they reflect confidence or doubt? Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Next, examine your beliefs. Identify any internal narratives that contradict your goals. These may have been formed through past experiences, environment, or repeated exposure to limiting ideas. Once identified, they must be consciously replaced with empowering beliefs through repetition and reinforcement. Then, take control of your emotional state. Your emotions influence your vibration, and your vibration influences your perception and decisions. By cultivating gratitude, confidence, and calm focus, you begin to shift the energy you bring into every situation. At the same time, refine your focus. Eliminate unnecessary distractions and direct your attention toward activities that contribute to growth. Focus is not just about productivity. It is about intentional direction. And most importantly, align your actions with your goals. Consistency in action is what bridges the gap between intention and result. Without action, even the strongest mindset remains theoretical. Discipline is the bridge between understanding and manifestation. Over time, as these elements come into harmony, something begins to change. Your decisions become more precise. Your awareness expands. Opportunities seem to align with your goals. Progress feels more natural and less forced. This is the state of alignment in motion. It is important to understand that this transformation does not happen instantly. It is a process of gradual refinement. Small, consistent improvements in your thoughts, beliefs, and actions compound over time into significant results. Most people underestimate this compounding effect. They look for immediate breakthroughs, and when they do not see them, they lose patience. But those who remain consistent, even in the absence of immediate results, eventually experience breakthroughs that appear sudden, but are actually the result of sustained effort. Wealth is built in layers. Each aligned thought strengthens your mental foundation. Each disciplined action reinforces your direction. Each moment of focus adds momentum to your progress. And as momentum builds, results begin to accelerate. At that point, you are no longer reacting to life. You are consciously shaping it. You begin to operate with intention rather than uncertainty. You make decisions based on principles rather than emotion. You trust the process because you understand the laws that govern it. This is the difference between living randomly and living deliberately. So as you move forward from this moment, carry these laws not just as information, but as guiding principles in your daily life. Apply them consistently. Observe your results. Adjust your alignment and continue refining your approach. Because when you live in harmony with these hidden spiritual laws, money is no longer something you chase. It becomes something that flows toward you as a natural result of who you are, how you think, and how you operate in the world.